I know, Millicent. It's scary. The cat. Okay, let's see what happens next. Okay, well, his mother said she wished he had never been born. The ducks pecked him, the chickens beat him, and the girl who fed the poultry kicked him with her feet. So at last he ran away, frightening the little birds in the hedge as he flew over the palings. Oh, Millicent, that is so sad. Okay, let's keep reading and see what happens. Well, he said, "They're afraid of me because I'm ugly," he said. So he closed his eyes and flew still farther until he came out onto a large moor inhabited by wild ducks. Here he remained the whole night, feeling very tired and sorrowful. Well, in the morning, when the wild ducks rose in the air, they stared at their new comrade. "What sort of duck are you?" they all said, coming round him. He bowed to them and was as polite as he could be, but he did not reply to their question. "You are exceedingly ugly," said the wild ducks. "But that will not matter if you do not want to marry one of our family." "Wow, Heidi." "I know." Oh, poor thing. He had no thoughts of marriage. All he wanted was permission to lie among the rushes and drink some of the water on the moor. Well, after he had been on the moor 2 days, there came 2 wild geese, or rather goslings, for they had not been out of the egg long, and they were very saucy. "Listen, friend," said one of them to the duckling, "you are so ugly that we like you very well. Will you go with us and become a bird of passage? Not far from here is another moor in which there are some pretty wild geese, all unmarried. It's a chance for you to get a wife. You may be lucky, ugly as you are." Pop, pop! Boo, boo! Sounded in the air, and the 2 wild geese fell dead among the rushes. Oh no, Heidi! I know. And the water was tinged with blood. Pop, pop! Pew, pew! Echoed far and wide in the distance, and whole flocks of wild geese rose up from the rushes. Oh no! The sound continued from every direction, for the sportsmen surrounded the moor, and some were even seated on branches of trees overlooking the rushes. "Gosh, Heidi, what are sportsmen? And what are they doing? This doesn't sound very good for the duck." Well, Millicent, sportsmen are hunters. And you're right, our little duck has to be very, very careful not to run into them. I think he'll be okay, though. Let's see, okay? I'm scared. I know. Don't worry. He's a brave, courageous duck. Let's hear how he gets through it. Okay. So, the blue smoke from the guns rose like clouds over the dark trees, and as it floated away across the water, a number of sporting dogs bounded in among the rushes, which bent beneath them wherever they went. How they terrified the poor duckling. Oh no! He turned away his head to hide it under his wing, and at the same moment a large, terrible dog passed quite near him. His jaws were open, and his tongue hung from his mouth, and his eyes glared tearfully. He thrust his nose close to the duckling, showing his sharp teeth, and then, splash, splash! He went into the water without touching him. "Oh," sighed the duckling, "how thankful I am for being so ugly. Even a dog will not bite me." And so he laid quite still, while the shot rattled through the rushes and gun after gun was fired over him. It was late in the day before all became quiet, but even then the poor young thing did not dare to move. He then quietly waited for several hours, and after looking carefully around him, hastened away from the moor as fast as he could. He ran over field and meadow till a storm arose, and he could hardly struggle against it. Towards evening, he reached a poor little cottage that seemed ready to fall, and only remained standing because it could not decide on which side to fall first. The storm continued, so violent that the duckling could go no farther. He sat down by the cottage, and then he noticed that the door was not quite closed in consequence of one of the hinges having given away. There was therefore a narrow opening near the bottom, large enough for him to slip through, which he did very quietly and got a shelter for the night.
Wow, Heidi.
I know. Let's see what happens next, okay?
Okay.
Well, a woman, a tomcat, and a hen lived in this cottage.
Wow.
Yeah. The tomcat, whom the mistress called
My little son,
was a great favorite. He could raise his back and purr and could even throw out sparks from his fur if it were stroked the wrong way.
Wow, Heidi. I've never heard of a cat like that.
I know. He's a very special cat. But let's hear what happens.
Okay.
So, the hen had very short legs, so she was called
Chickie Short Legs.
She laid good eggs, and her mistress loved her as if she had been her own child. Well, in the morning, the strange visitor was discovered, and the tomcat began to purr, and the hen to cluck.
What is that noise about?
Said the old woman, looking around the room. But her sight was not very good. Therefore, when she saw the duckling, she thought it must be a fat duck that had strayed from home.
Oh, what a prize, she exclaimed. I hope it is not a drake, for then I shall have some duck's eggs. I must wait and see.
So the duckling was allowed to remain on trial for 3 weeks. But there were no eggs. Now the tomcat was the master of the house, and the hen was mistress, and they always said, "We are the world," for they believed themselves to be half the world, and the better half too. Well, the duckling thought that others might hold a different opinion on the subject. But the hen would not listen to such doubts. "Can you lay eggs?" she asked.
No.
"Then have the goodness to hold your tongue."
Wow, Heidi. She's rough.
I know. Shh, let's hear the rest of the story.
Okay.
So the cat asked, "Can you raise your back or purr or throw out sparks?"
No.
"Then you have no right to express an opinion when sensible people are speaking."
Wow.
I know. Let's see what happens next. So the duckling sat in a corner, feeling very low-spirited, till the sunshine and the fresh air came into the room through the open door, and then he began to feel such a great longing for a swim on the water that he could not help telling the hen about it. "What an absurd idea," said the hen. "You have nothing else to do, therefore you have foolish fancies. If you could purr or lay eggs, those all would pass away."
But it's so delightful to swim about on the water, said the duckling, and so refreshing to feel it close over your head while you dive down to the bottom.
delightful indeed, said the hen. Why, you must be crazy. Ask the cat. He is the cleverest animal I know. Ask him how he would like to swim about on the water or to dive under it, for I will not speak of my own opinion. Ask our mistress, the old woman. There is no one in the world more clever than she is. Huh. Do you think she would like to swim or let the water close over her head? I would think not.
You don't understand me, said the duckling.
We don't understand you? Oh, who can understand you, I wonder? Do you consider yourself more clever than the cat or the old woman? I will say nothing of myself. Don't imagine such nonsense, child, and thank your good fortune that you have been received here.
Wow. Oh my, doesn't sound like she likes the duckling.
I know, Millicent, but let's see what happens next.
Okay.
She continued, Are you not in a warm room and in society from which you may learn something? But you are a chatterer, and your company is not very agreeable. Believe me, I speak only for your own good. I may tell you unpleasant things and truths, and that is proof of my friendship. Oh, yes. I advise you, therefore, to lay eggs and learn to purr as quickly as possible.
Well, I believe I must go out into the world again, said the duckling.
Well, yes, do, said the hen. So, the duckling left the cottage, but soon found water on which it could swim and dive, but was avoided by all other animals because of its ugly appearance.
But Heidi, is he really that ugly?
Well, I don't think so, but maybe they can't see the real him. But let's keep reading, okay?
Okay.
Autumn came, and the leaves in the forest turned to orange and gold. Then, as winter approached, the wind caught them as they fell, and it whirled them in the cold air. The clouds, heavy with hail and snowflakes, hung low in the sky, and the ravens stood on the ferns crying, "Mah! Mah!" It made one shiver with cold to look at him. All this was very sad for the poor little duckling. One evening, just as the sun set amid radiant clouds, there came a large flock of beautiful birds out of the bushes. The duckling had never seen anything like them before. They were swans, and they curved their graceful necks while their soft plumage showed with dazzling whiteness. They uttered a singular cry, "Wah!" as they spread their glorious wings and flew away from those cold regions to warmer countries across the sea. As they mounted higher and higher in the sky and in the air, the ugly little duckling felt quite a strange sensation as he watched them.